Hello, everyone. My name is Chyla Floodman. I'm with Team BC eXp Realty. Today, I have with me Ryan. He's an appraiser here in Sacramento. Thank you, Ryan, for coming on.
Oh, hey, thanks for
And
having me. I really appreciate it.
yeah, of course. And, for people who don't really know what an appraiser is, why don't you explain a little bit about what you do for work?
Sure. Well, mine's kind of a boring job. I never get asked, for those come to school and share about your occupation. No one wants to know about appraisers. So I'll keep this brief. Basically, I'm the guy that gives a value to the house. It could be for a bank loan, it could be for a private situation, tax purposes, or dissolution of marriage, or whatever it is. And so I'm the guy that gives a value. So that means either people are happy or not with the value I give.
Yes, right? Hopefully, it's always happy for the most part.
Yeah.
And, I brought Ryan on today because obviously it's all in the headlines, the market's shifting, all this and that. What is really your take on the market update right now?
Well, we really are in a different market. It felt like we were on a real estate honeymoon for about a year and a half, where everything was just completely glowing. For sellers at least, where every month it was like price records were being broken and inventory got so low, and then it really came to a screeching halt. We've seen this tremendously sharp change over the past few months when mortgage rates doubled. And so I know a lot of people look at rates and go like, hey, they're historically low. It's very, very true. We're 6% or a little bit lower, but doubling in a short period of time after 11 years of price growth means a lot of people can't afford the market. And so I think what we're starting to see in the stats over the past month, especially, is a really quick change, and it just reflects that yeah, buyers are struggling to afford. There's still obviously people buying out there, but there's no mistaking. There's more inventory. We have about 4,000 listings. Last year it was more like 2,200, 2,300, and really the X factor is fewer buyers. And so it's been wild to watch. I think a lot of people, when the year started, they were like, nothing will ever change. And here we are in the midst of change. I think we're living through change right now as we make this video.
Definitely. And it's changing by the day. And I'm looking at your stats every day. Ryan always posts on Facebook and he has his own blog and he really keeps us up to date about the Sacramento market and what's going on. And although rates have doubled, do you still feel like it's a great time for buyers to buy right now?
Okay, so I'm sort of the objective guy, so I never say it's a good time to buy or sell. I stay out of that conversation. But I will say that I find that people typically buy real estate when their lifestyle lines up with market conditions. I think a lot of people look and they're like, the best time to buy is at the lowest possible point, and I'd say, well, great, that was 10 years ago in 2012, or hey, before in the 90s or the 80s. But the reality is that I think our lifestyle doesn't always line up perfectly with the bottom moment. And so I think for some people today, yeah, it makes sense. They're buying that Airbnb, or they're buying a duplex, or they're deploying equity. They inherited money, or they're leaving California, or they're coming back to California, or they need to upsize, they need to downsize, they need room for aging parents, or a neighbor is selling his mom's house because she's going into a care facility. And so there's a lot of reasons why people buy and sell. It's just, I think a lot of people are out there right now going, man, I've got to sit on the sidelines. And so I think it's good if someone's lifestyle is lining up. I think in any market that's true. But just make sure the numbers work. That's always my advice. Be comfortable with the mortgage payment. That's my key advice.
Yeah, and that's a great answer because really it's not necessarily is it a great time to buy because rates are low or rates are high or the pricing is kind of leveled out right now. It's really when is a good time for you to purchase the house and when are you personally ready to get into the market at the time. So that's a perfect answer. And just really real quick to kind of wrap up the market situation, we're seeing kind of less homes pending and we're seeing price reductions as well, right? Do you have anything to kind of add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So 45% of active listings have had a price reduction. And, that number, it's not that it's so historically high, but I mean, it feels like last year it's over twice of what it was last year. And so it just feels like such a different market. Okay. But the rate of change, we went from not many price reductions to all of a sudden, whoa, what's happening? And so I think that represents a lot of opportunities for buyers to maybe target properties with the price reduction. There's more opportunity. And you asked one more thing about what price reductions and what else. I lost my train of thought
So
there.
price reductions and then also less homes going pending. So that's kind of
Yes.
why we're seeing the more inventory.
Yeah, so that and you hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's not that sellers are listing their homes more and rushing to the market. I mean, I'm sure maybe there's some people who are doing that, but the X factor is in the region, we've had about 2,000 fewer pending contracts over the past couple months. And so what happens is that you have your pile of listings and your pile of pendings, and all of a sudden the pile of pendings has 2,000 fewer than this pile rises really quickly. And so that's kind of the dynamic happening right now. And so it just feels like the gap between supply and demand really got a whole lot wider. So technically right now a lot of the stats look very normal, but I think the question is, well, what happens and what will they look like in a few months? And we'll just keep watching by the week.
Exactly. And a great way to really keep your thumb on the market right now is to watch Ryan's appraisal blog because he really kind of just goes into depth almost every day now, it seems, on what's happening within the market and where can people reach you for more information.
Absolutely. So yeah, I have one weekly post on my blog at sacramentoappraisalblog.com, or I'm at Sac Appraiser on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, happy to connect. And yeah, I am sharing daily stats on my socials, just one post on my blog.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Ryan, for coming on. I appreciate your time here.
Hey, thanks a lot.